Hey folks, I'm Jack Fossett, and welcome to this demo and review of the Wampler Plexi-Drive Deluxe. This is an excellent Marshall-in-a-Box pedal. Most of you probably obviously know that from the title, but for those of you that didn't know that, how are you ever going to know if you're afraid to ask? I digress. This is the Wampler Plexi-Drive Deluxe, a superb take on a classic Marshall with some added features. So the first thing I want to say is one of the things that I love about it is that it gives you all the rich, saturated kind of ooey gooiness of that really ripping, hot-rodded Marshall sound, but in a way that integrates with your tone really well, right? So sometimes when you get amp-in-a-box pedals, it sounds like it just blankets your tone. It almost sounds like all of a sudden you kick it on and it's like you're plugging into a different rig. Even if it sounds good, it can kind of throw you a little bit. This one I find integrates with the tone really well. And to show that off, I'm using actually two different rigs for this video, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I find that it still gives you the Marshall character that you're looking for, but without just all of a sudden sounding like, whoa, what am I playing now? So that's great. And the second and the more important thing I think about it is its versatility, right? So you have, besides your obvious volume and gain, you have an active 3-band EQ, you have a bright switch, you have a bass boost, and the idea of that, according to the literature, is to simulate the difference between an open back and a closed 412 cabinet. And I think it does it pretty well, and of course, in more layman's and just basic terms, it gives you two different voicing options to dial it in according to your rig. Like you might have heard that certainly sounded a little better one way with the Les Paul. Next I'm going to play Stratocaster, and it has a different response in a different rig. So it really helps you tailor the sound of this pedal to what you're playing. One of the things that's really cool about this pedal is the boost. When I first got this pedal, I actually just plugged it in and kind of went about it organically as opposed to reading up on what specifically all the knobs do. Most boosts on pedals are going to be just that. They just make your volume louder and give you an option for solo boost, which is perfectly fine and good and useful. This one, it's actually, again, according to the description, it's like putting a tube screamer in front of the cranked Marshall stack. So way more saturated and really rich tones. But then also what was cool is if you backed off the gain on your basic amp side of it, it kind of gave me the flavor of a blues breaker. The overdrive, not the amplifier, almost like a really pushed blues breaker overdrive. It was a really great tone, which again brings me to the next point of this pedal sounds really great no matter how you use it. I actually liked it, and the way I would probably use this personally is with less gain, kind of an edge of breakup sound, use the boost just to push you into a thicker lead territory, but it really evokes that great classic, kind of like a Jimmy Marshall sound, but not when it's fully wide open or when he has his volume backed off. A lot of great tones in here, and again, I think it captures kind of the vibe. It really captures the tone and the character of the classic Marshall amps, doing it in a way that integrates well into your setup and doesn't just kind of blanket and change your tone. I love the styling. I absolutely love the Union Jack kind of done in the messy paint style, and then with the really, the stark white enclosure and the black lettering. I think it just looks super flashy. This is something I would absolutely have on my board, and we'll probably use it coming up. Now it's 9 or 18 volts. I'm using it at 9 volts for this video today. I mentioned two different rigs. Now, first you heard it with this Les Paul, and I was going into a Henry Amps SRT Plus, which is actually based on a lesser-known classic Vox circuit. So you're just hearing that in a uniquely British setup, although Henry Amps are made in New Jersey, which you gotta love that. Next, to show you how it integrates and reacts differently with different rigs, I'm going to play with the Stratocaster into my Franklin Amps Tweed 5E3. And you'll hear it's very different. And with that rig, it almost gets some, I want to say fuzz-like tones and just a very different sound, but still has that Marshall character. The EQ, I'm basically keeping a standard for this demo. I've got it set one way for the Les Paul, and I'm going to set it a different way for the Stratocaster to account for the difference in, the guitars and the pickups and whatnot. And on that note, I want to mention that, I could have probably spent an hour doing a full review of this pedal. So I'm really just showing you some great kind of playthrough tones here. But there's just a ton you could dive into with this pedal as far as how you could use it for tone shaping, for a foundation overdrive, to just really let your solos scream or sing or smooth out, whatever you wanted to do. This pedal can really do it in a great way. I'm very excited about this. I'm very pleased with it, and I'm not traditionally a Marshall in a box kind of person, but this is one that this one has really stolen my heart, let's say. Now, I also want to say this is not a sponsored demo. I actually traded for this pedal through someone in the Wampler pedal trade group on Facebook. I have worked with Wampler before, and I like Wampler pedals an awful lot, but this is not a sponsored demo. This is one I'm just doing on my own to share with all of you, that this is a really great pedal that gets a lot of great tones. So again, you just heard it with the Les Paul going into the Henry Amps SRT Plus. Next, you're going to hear it with the Stratocaster going into the Henry Amps 5E3 Tweed Deluxe. That's going into a 210 cabinet. Please let us know in the comments, have you used this pedal? Have you used the new version of it, which is the Plexi-Drive Mini? Or what other types of pedals like this do you use? What other sort of Marshall-in-a-Box pedals do you like? I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.